Hey, what's going on, guys? DK. Back at you with another video here to bring on Game 1 of the NBA Finals. So excited for this showdown slate. Also, $1 million to first. Yes, a milli maker. So this one is going to be a lot of fun. We have Bucks, we have Suns. Yeah, I cannot wait to talk about this. But if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. Also making videos for PGA Daily Fantasy Sports and NBA Top Shot. If you're interested in PGA, again, I just uploaded my video for the John Deere Classic that starts on Thursday, so go ahead and check that one out. If you're unable to watch these YouTube videos, I also upload an Apple Podcasts. Link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you are interested in signing up for premium content, I offer that on patreon.com. Link down below. Esports package, it includes Call of Duty and CSGO. Now, CSGO, we are returning to LAN tomorrow. Super excited about that. Same with Call of Duty, which returned to LAN a couple weeks ago. And then I also offer an NBA package. Now, with the NBA package, you'll get those PGA data sheets for free. And with NBA, also Olympics coming up. Going to be covering that. TBT if DraftKings has it. And Summer League in about a month. Finally, I want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring this episode. So, if this is your first time watching my videos or you're not familiar with Prize Picks, there's a couple different ways you can play. Number one is taking straight up on over/under on fantasy points. So, Chris Paul is projected for 41.5 fantasy points. Do you like the under? Do you like the over? Now, for me, the big three of Phoenix look a little bit low here with Paul, Booker, Ayton. I think the guy I feel the best about is probably Chris Paul at 41.5, taking the over there. But those do feel a little bit low. Now, they don't have Drew Holiday or Middleton here yet. I'm guessing because they're waiting to hear the status of Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's, again, currently up in the air. If I had to guess, I would say he sits out this game. But, again, we will know more tomorrow. And then you can also play straight up, taking over/under on points, assists, rebounds, three-pointers made. So if you guys want to try it out, you can sign up, just go DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word, link down below. You will get a 100% match up to $100. So basically, you put $100 in, you will get a free $100 to play with. You can also mix and match sports. And again, it's a nice change of pace. You're not playing against anyone. You're just playing against the house. All right, guys. So let's, I guess really quick before we talk about the Milli Maker and NBA Finals Game 1, let's go over my lineup here from a couple days ago. So I got a little bit, it came down to how healthy, you thought Trae Young was, and I really didn't know. I knew obviously he wasn't close to 100%, but I rolled the dice on him. Didn't really work out. I mean, he just clearly wasn't there health-wise. I went with that Bobby Portis and the captain kind of team jam in approach to get Middleton, Drew Holiday, Trae Young, John Collins, Okongwu. So that was it for my lineup, but just kind of average, forgettable night for myself. But let's talk about this one, guys. So again, Bucks and Suns, a 218 over/under. The Suns are currently 6-point favorites. So if I had to guess with those Vegas odds, again, I would lean Giannis doesn't play. If Giannis was playing, I would think that would be a lot closer. I would think maybe the Suns are a couple points favorite, favored by a couple points, not 6 points. So again, we will get more news on that tomorrow. We'll start off with Milwaukee. So Giannis Antetokounmpo, again, it's 11.2K, status up in the air. If he plays, I like him. Now, obviously, there is risk. Same thing I said about Trae Young is like, how healthy is he? Is he going to be close to 100%? Is he going to be rather more of a decoy if he does play? I would guess since it's Game 1, if he does play, he's going to be pretty healthy. The reason I lean towards him sitting out Game 1 is because it's Game 1, right? It's early on in the series. They can afford to take an L here. So that's why I'm guessing he doesn't play. Again, though, we'll get confirmation of that tomorrow. So if he does play, though, and there's no limitations, I think Giannis is a good play at the top. However, it would be a little bit risky just because of that knee injury. Now, if Giannis Antetokounmpo is out, Middleton and Drew Holiday are the two of the best plays in the show. So really like both. They both should be very popular. Their usage just goes way up. I mean, look at their stats last couple games with Giannis out. 26, 13, and 8, and then 32, 7, and 4 from Middleton. Drew Holiday, 25, 13, and 6, 27, 9, and 9. These guys get a massive bump. They will do it all, as in get a ton of rebounds, assist, can score the ball, can get those blocks and steals. Really like them both. If I had to give a preference to who I prefer, it would be Drew Holiday because he's cheaper. However, he might be a little bit more popular than Middleton, even though if Giannis Antetokounmpo is out, both these guys are going to be the chalk as they should be. Now, I talked about recency bias with Brook Lopez. I was like, hey, he went for 50 last game. He is going to be overowned. And he was, and he went back down to earth, right? That 50-plus fantasy point game was definitely an outlier. Now, the good thing with Brook Lopez when Giannis has been out is the minutes, 38 and 39 minutes. And Phoenix is a big front court, right? DeAndre Ayton's going to play big minutes. So if there's no Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think Brook Lopez is fine, but doesn't, the minutes will be up on him. That is the positive, but still wouldn't be a must play for me. Now, if Giannis Antetokounmpo is in, then I'm probably off Brook Lopez. And let's just say, about the other guys really quick. So if Giannis is in, Middleton, Drew Holiday become a little bit riskier. Portis probably becomes out of play at that price. He would go back down to his probably 15-ish minutes off the bench. So that is pretty big, right? We've got to keep an eye on that one for sure. Now, Bobby Portis, again, this depends strictly on Giannis Antetokounmpo. If Giannis Antetokounmpo is out, I still like Bobby Portis a good amount. Back-to-back games, 30-plus fantasy points. Last game, kind of subpar, 26 fantasy points. But he is a guy that is a great point per minute guy and does have that upside. We saw it 2 games ago. So if there's no Giannis, I do like Bobby Portis a good amount here. If Giannis Antetokounmpo is in, then we're probably going to go back to the 15 to 18 minutes of the bench, and Bobby Portis would be overpriced. Pat Connaughton, PJ Tucker. Both these guys will get minutes either way. Minutes have been fluctuating a little bit more for Pat Connaughton, 32, 26, 21, 30. I think we get normally around mid-20s minutes. Not the best point per minute guy. However, he will be out there a decent amount, so a viable value play. Would have wished he was a little bit cheaper. PJ Tucker, the minutes have been a little bit more secure in him. Should play, I would say, 30 to 35 minutes. Again, not the best point per minute guy, but we are going to need some value on the slate. And both him and Pat Connaughton, you can expect big minutes from. So Bryn Forbes at 2.4K has been hovering in the 10 to 15 minute range. I mean, you can use him as a dart throw. Maybe he gets hot behind the three-point line, as I always say, but that's really all you can hope for with Bryn Forbes. He's not going to do much in the peripheral stats department, so nothing right now more than a contrarian dart throw. And Jeff Teague did crack the rotation last game. He played well in 12 minutes, 11 points, 1 assist. If there's no Giannis Antetokounmpo, you can roll the dice on him because he's that cheap and just kind of hope he plays maybe 10 to 15 minutes off the bench, but obviously a high-risk play there. And then Thanasis Antetokounmpo might get a minute or two off the bench for defensive purposes, and he is 1K, but wouldn't expect big minutes unless there's some severe foul trouble in some of the guys above him. So that's kind of it from Milwaukee. Let's move on to Phoenix. So Chris Paul, Booker, DeAndre Ayton, the big three at the top here. 9.8K for Chris Paul, 9.6K for Devin Booker, 8.4K for DeAndre Ayton. With Paul and Booker, I will say Booker probably has a little bit more upside than Paul. However, I think the floor might be a little bit higher on Paul. And we saw the upside from Chris Paul last game. 41 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. I just like that he stuffs the stat sheet, and when he has a good shooting game like he did last game, he can really put up a big score. So I think my preferred option, or the safer option, is still Chris Paul, even though he's a little bit more expensive than Devin Booker. I will say more often than not, Booker does possess, that upside, a little higher upside than Chris Paul. But yeah, both guards firmly in play. Both guards should play big minutes. Like I expect around 40 minutes or so from Devin Booker. Probably, 35 to 38 from Chris Paul. So like both the guards here in Phoenix, I think a small edge to Chris Paul. DeAndre Ayton at 8.4K, I think it's pretty safe. We know the minutes going to be there for him. 36, 41, 37, and 40 minutes the last 4 games. He's a good rebounder. 22, 11, 17 rebounds the last 3 games. I think Ayton's a pretty safe play. Does possess some upside. We've seen some pretty big games from him, right? We saw a 60 fantasy point game from him 3 games ago. So Ayton, pretty safe. Like that price on him. So Bridges and Crowder are kind of just there, right? They don't really stand out. These guys can have upside games, but it's a little bit rare. Like we've seen a couple of games from Bridges and Crowder where they can crack 30 to 40 fantasy points, but they have to get hot behind the 3-point line or have one of those games where they have like 4 or 5 steals, right? We've seen a couple of those. 1 steal, 3 block game from Mikal Bridges. He can, he is a decent defender, so he can get those, steals and blocks. More often than not, I think we're going to get, somewhere around 30 to 35 minutes from Mikal Bridges. And I would say around 20 to 25 fantasy points, which I think makes him a fair play. But again, doesn't really stand out. Kind of just filler options, I always say, with these 2 guys. And same with Jay Crowder. I think normally we get around 30 to 35 minutes. Both these guys are decent defenders. Both can have upside. However, it is a little bit rare. Last 5 games for Jay Crowder have been forgettable. 13, 17, 14, 17, and then 29 fantasy points. Minutes, they're going to be there. So Crowder, Bridges are both fine plays, but I'm not going to start my lineup with either, right? If you land on one of those guys the last piece in, sure, good with me. All right, so Cameron Payne's at 4.6K. He had a nice bounce back game last game, went for 21 fantasy points in 16 minutes. With Chris Paul healthy, we're probably only going to get about 15 minutes from Cam Payne off the bench. However, he is a higher usage guy, a decent point per minute guy when he's out there. So a viable play at that price point, but don't expect huge minutes unless something happens to Paul or Booker or one of those guys getting foul trouble. Now, Torrey Craig went from basically getting a DNP to playing 31 minutes last game. Now, the big reason for that was Cam Johnson was out. Also, Torrey Craig played great on the defensive end the last game too. So with Torrey Craig, I think he's a little bit overpriced. He jumped from 1K to 3.8K. And again, with Cam Johnson back, his minutes should go down. Now, I do think he probably plays. The question is how many minutes he plays. I think we go back to that normal maybe 10 to 15 minutes off the bench for Torrey Craig. So not completely out of play, however, maybe a little bit overpriced. Cam Johnson, 2.8K. I do kind of like the price on him. Minutes should be about 15 to 20. Again, a decent offensive player. For the last 5 games, 25, 10, 21, 17, and 22 fantasy points for Cam Johnson. So at 2.8K, I think he makes for a pretty solid value play on this showdown slate. Dario Saric at 2K is going to play the backup 5, then gets around 10 minutes. Is a decent point per guy that can knock down some threes. Playable. Again, the way he plays more minutes is if DeAndre Ayton does get in some foul trouble. We saw early in that Denver series, Ayton did get some foul trouble, and Sarge played 16 minutes and he had a decent game there, 15.5 fantasy points. Abdul Nader, 1-2, might get a little bit of run. 5, 9, 6 minutes last few games here. Again, I don't expect a ton of minutes. I expect Cam Johnson and Torrey Craig to get some decent minutes to the bench, but wouldn't expect big minutes from Abdul Nader, so not really someone I'm looking to, and that's really it. I don't think any of these other guys play unless this game turns into a massive blowout. So that is going to do it for the video today, guys. If you have been enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos and you don't go live. Again, it will be live tomorrow on my YouTube channel, so make sure to check it out, guys. Thanks again. Have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the live stream.